If you're doing great on paper, but it never feels enough, you might be an insecure overachiever. In this video, I will walk you through 7 signs to help you spot it in yourself. Hi everybody, if you're new here, I'm Andri. I went from physics research at top institutions into data leadership at a Fortune 50 company. And as a recovering insecure overachiever myself, I now help high achievers to stop feeling like they're never enough and build a life they actually want. Let's see if you recognize yourself in these signs. Sign number 1 is perfectionism. This is when doing something well is not enough. It has to be flawless. It has to be perfect. You might notice yourself triple-checking your work, over-preparing for meetings, feeling genuinely uncomfortable when something is just good enough. And the tricky part is that from the outside, this often gets praised. It looks like high standards, like you really care. But very often, underneath, there is a quieter driver. At some point, the goal quietly shifts from doing great work to proving you're enough. And because your nervous system never fully registers that it's safe to stop, the bar keeps moving higher and higher and higher. You achieve something, there is a brief moment of relief, and the pressure comes back. So over time, it becomes very hard to even relax into the feeling of, this is good enough. Sign number 2 is constant urgency. This is when everything starts to feel urgent. You might notice people, or even yourself, repeatedly pinging others on Teams, on Slack, following up quickly, behaving as if the task on the table is the most important one in the room. And if there is no response, the follow-ups keep coming. Because silence can start to feel like invisibility. And invisibility can feel risky. Because in that moment, it genuinely feels urgent. Now, of course, sometimes things genuinely are time-sensitive, but with insecure overachievers, the urgency often goes beyond the actual stakes of the work. Because underneath, there is often a strong need to stay visible, relevant, clearly contributing. So pressure gets created. Deadlines feel tighter than they are, and the whole environment starts to feel like it's running in permanent high-priority mode. Sign number 3 is credential collecting. This is the quiet pressure to keep adding more visible proof of your competence. By the way, I've definitely caught myself in this one too. Just saying. Another certification, another title, another achievement that signals, see, I do know what I'm doing. And very often, it's not just about doing something well, it's about doing it in the most recognized, the most prestigious, the most shiny container. The best school, the top institution, the brand name company. Now, growth and ambition, they're not the problem. But with insecure overachievers, the drive can become a bit relentless. Because underneath, there is often a lingering feeling that the current version of you is not quite enough yet. So the mind starts to believe, maybe once I have this next title, this next credential, this next shiny medal, then I will finally feel more solid. But just like with perfectionism, that sense of arrival rarely lasts very long. By the way, quick question. Which one of these signs are you recognizing in yourself so far? I would love to hear it in the comments. Sign number 4 is compulsive doing. So, I've seen this so much, especially when I was working in a Fortune 50 environment. And I was in exactly the same boat too. It's this part of you that needs to keep you in motion all the time. Your calendar is completely full. Somehow you manage to fill almost every available slot. The only real moment to talk to somebody properly is during lunch. And even finding time for basic nature breaks starts to feel surprisingly challenging. Now, from the outside, this often looks like high productivity, but underneath, there is often a quiet pressure running in the background. Because when you do slow down, even briefly, it can start to feel like you're not doing enough, not optimizing enough, not keeping up. Surely there must be more that you could be doing. Everybody else is still busy. If you relax too much, you might fall behind. So staying in motion starts to feel like the safer option. Sign number 5 is what I call the quiet martyrdom. This is when part of your identity becomes how much you can carry, how much you can tolerate, how much you can push through. You might notice yourself taking on way more than is actually sustainable, saying yes when your plate is already full, or even feeling a little bit proud of how much you're managing to juggle. And again, from the outside, this often gets rewarded. You look committed, you look reliable, you look indispensable. But underneath, there is often a quiet belief that your value is somehow linked to how much you're willing to sacrifice. So rest gets postponed, boundaries get stretched, and slowly exhaustion starts to feel normal. Because part of the system has learned, if I can carry more, maybe I will be seen as more valuable. Sign number 6 is constant comparison. This is when part of your attention is always quietly, or not so quietly, tracking how you're doing compared to everybody else. By the way, guilty as charged. You notice who got promoted, who got the recognition, who seems to be moving faster. And even when things are objectively going well for you, there is still this background tension. Because someone somewhere is always ahead on something. Now, this doesn't usually look like obvious competitiveness. It's often much more subtle. You hear somebody else's news and something tightens inside. There is this quick mental calculation, a moment of, wait, should I be further along by now? And over time, it becomes really hard to feel fully satisfied with your own progress. Because the reference point, once again, just keeps moving. Sign number 7 is approval seeking. This is when your own sense of, I did well, doesn't fully land on its own. You find yourself looking for signals from the people whose opinion matters in your environment. Your manager, senior stakeholders, experienced peers, people whose judgment carries weight. You might notice yourself rereading messages to check the tone, or wondering how your last comment landed, feeling a bigger wave of relief than you expected when the good feedback finally comes in. And again, from the outside, this can look like strong ownership, like you really care about doing great work. But underneath, part of you has learned, I will know I did well once someone important confirms it. And over time, your confidence starts to depend a bit too much on what's happening outside of you. Because the moment external validation goes quiet, the self-doubt tends to get louder. If you recognize yourself in even one of these signs, you're definitely not alone. In the next video, I break down how insecure overachievers are created and why it's so hard to stop, even when you can see the pattern. You can find it right here. See you there. Bye.